Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka your friendly neighbourhood spoiler man. In this video we're going to be breaking down every single Spider-Man and woman appearing in Across the Spiderverse. What? The film is going to be packed with hundreds of variants, and we've compiled the posters, trailers, and also what we know about the film to talk about them all. Whew, been a big job, and first off I want to go through the recently released trailer, as that contains almost all of the main ones. We'll then shift over to the giant poster and discuss the ones in that before sitting down and having a pint, cause f***'s sake, there's a lot going on. Anyway, first Spider-Man is Miles Morales. That's it, let's pack it up and go home. No, now Miles was first introduced in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and similar to what we've seen into the Spider-Verse, his version of Peter died. The designation for this Earth is Earth 1610, but they haven't ever confirmed the one that we follow in Into the Spider-Verse. However, we do know that our next character Gwen comes from Earth 65. Spider-Gwen's Peter was killed here, and this very much became her Uncle Ben moment. As I'm sure you can guess, Gwen didn't die in this timeline, and neither did her father, who will be appearing in the film. Now the latest trailer has us next meeting Spider-Woman, who will be voiced by Issa Rae. She is heavily pregnant, and her design is different to the way that she looks in the comics. However, this Spider-Woman does appear later on in the trailer, when we see all the characters riding on top of a train. Anyway, next we see Herbert Brown, and we know that he's going to be voiced by Daniel Kaluuya. Going under the name Spider-Punk, he's very much riffing on Spider UK, except for this guy has a guitar and a metal mohawk. Next we see Spider-Man India, and he protects the city of Mumbai. Given his powers by an ancient yogi, he refused to stop a mugging one day, and this led to his uncle intervening. He was killed during this, and after being racked with guilt, he decided to use his powers solely for good. Now from here we travel to the lobby, which is a nexus point in space that all the Spider-Men convene at.
I'm too old for this shit.
Anyway, behind Gwen and Miles, we catch a fatter red and black Spider-Man, and this may be the version from Superior Spider-Man in which Dr. Octopus became him. He mind-swapped himself into Peter's body, and slowly his goodness started to change Otto's mind. However, he doesn't have the four mechanical arms that the one does in the comics, so it might not be him, and it might just be a reach. And next to that, with a blue glow coming out of his chest, we have what I believe is the Velocity suit. Right beside that is a more shinier classic suit, and it is possible that this is a variation of Spider-Man at the end of No Way Home. I also think that the Spider Armor MK4 is in there too, and this is what Peter wore when he became the CEO of Parker Industries. Now those ones at the back are kinda difficult to make out, so we'll move forward to the ledge where we get the next set. The first one on the left is Spider-Girl, and this is actually an older Mayday Parker who appears later on in the teaser. She first showed up in What If 105, and was Peter and Mary Jane's daughter who'd taken over the mantle. Walking behind her, we get another female Spider-Man who looks like she's wearing the black and white Future Foundation suit. This 2011 book had Peter becoming a member of the team with the Fantastic Four, and though this is a woman in the costume, it does look identical. Now that's a suit that you might recognise from the PS4 game, alongside the Mark II armour that appears right next to it. This bulletproof costume was donned by Peter when he lost his spider sense, and this allowed him to protect himself when heading into gunfights. Now I looked far and wide for this next suit, and according to Games Radar, this is the anti-Kingpin one. It apparently first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man 62, and if they found it and I didn't, then that means they're better than me. Now from here we get the PS4 suit, and then we get what looks like it may be the Superior Spider-Man suit as well. Lots of duplicates in here as well, so apologies if I repeat stuff, but I'm just being thorough. Anyway, we pull out even further, and in the top left we can catch the Mangaverse Spider-Man. Talked about him a lot in our breakdown of the trailer, but his sensei Ben was killed by Venom, and he ended up donning the costume. Later on we see him riding on top of the train as well, and you can catch him in the bottom right as it races forward. Now in front of him is a clearer view of Spider-Pig. Hey, haha! Now this is Spider-Cop, sorry if you're a policeman watching this, and he first appeared in Spider-Geddon 4 back in 2018. Protecting New York as a member of the NYPD, he was recruited by Spider-Gwen to join the team in the Spider-Verse storyline. Anyway, right beside him is an all-red suit, which looks like the rubber one Peter wore whilst battling Electro. To the right of him we can catch Spinneret, and this is a variant of Mary Jane. She and Peter had a daughter together, and you can actually catch her standing right behind her. This is Spider-Ling, and I'm pretty sure that the pair both appeared together in the Renew Your Vows storyline. Now the steampunk looking Spider-Woman is called Lady Spider, and she comes from an Earth set in the 1800s. Named May Riley, she takes the full name of Aunt May, and has these mechanical spider legs that we see sticking out of her back. Not 100% sure on who the next one is, as he seems to be like a generic variant, but let me know below if you know who this one is. Now walking above the pair, we can catch a shirtless Spider-Man who seems like he's only wearing a mask, underpants and boots. This may be the Undies Spider-Man, and you might remember him as appearing in the PS4 game as an unlockable skin. Right in front of Spider-Cop we also have a red and gold suit, and this is the one that Peter wore in the Civil War storyline. Next we have a group of Spider-Peeps standing together, and the guy with the big blue chest is Spider-Side, a leftover from the 90s Clone Saga. He first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man 399. Now next to him is a red Spider-Woman, and it's possible that this is actually Ultimate Spider-Woman from the Ultimate Universe. Next we pull out to see Captain Spider, and this is what we would get if Flash Thompson got the powers instead. Like many of these, he comes from a what-if storyline, and the character debuted back in 1977. Now walking in front of him is the bombastic Bagman. In the comics, Peter went to the Baxter building to remove the symbiote suit, but in the end this left him without any clothes. Thus he took a Fantastic Four uniform, and he also took a brown bag to wear over his face. Lastly, in the top right, we can catch Spider-Wolf, who debuted back in the Amazing Spider-Man 11 from 2014. Phew. Anyway, next we cut to Spider-Man 2099, aka Miguel O'Hara. Coming from the futuristic Nueva York, he's the leader of this pack of misfits after creating a bracelet that could stabilize multiversal travel. Next we get Peter Parker, and according to the wiki, this isn't coming from me, he's actually coming from Earth 616. It is getting hella confusing because the comic universe is 616, the MCU is meant to be that as well, and we now have Peter B, who's apparently from there too.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Anyway, moving on, we next cut to more shots of the lobby, and to the left we get a red and white suit. This looks like it might be based on the white 2099 suit, though it's far less bulky, and probably not that. What a waste of time. Anyway, beside that we have the Armor Mark II, which is a white suit that appeared in the comics and also the 90s cartoon. A lot of these do kind of just seem generic, but to the right of that we can catch the back of the Mark III armor. First appearing in the Amazing Spider-Man 682, this was designed to bring down every member of the Sinister Six. It could pick up on the Chameleon's heartbeat and was also electro-proof for fights against him. We can also see at the back that there's a Spider-Man with a big fro standing to the right of Spider-Woman. Due to his guitar that we see later in the trailer, I'm guessing that this is Spider-Punk with his mask off. Anyway, the next major shot is on top of the train, and we have a giant Spider-Man to the left who could be riffing on Giant Man. We also have Cyborg Spider-Woman to the right, and a Spider-Woman wearing a sexy Santa costume. Next we cut to more montage shots, and in this we see Scarlet Spider, aka Ben Reilly. From here we see 3 Spider-Man standing together, and I think that this might be the Japanese Spider-Man on the left. In the middle is Spider-Man Unlimited from the 90s, and to the right of him is the PS4 one. Lastly we cut to a big group shot, and in the top right we can catch a Spider-Man hanging from his fingertips like Andrew Garfield in No Way Home. There's also a Night Spider-Man as well. I said in the breakdown that he might be a samurai, but many of you corrected me, so I look like a f***ing idiot. Now this takes us into the big chase shot, and there's a lot here as well. This includes Spider-Mechanic, who first showed up in Avengers 9. There's also Earth X Spider-Man, and lastly the White Widow wearing the white suit. Finally we cut to the therapist room and get a more generic Spider-Man who looks in line with Peter B. Parker. We also have a therapist, and in the top right's a Rorschach test that looks like it's a spider. They then all burst through the wall, and we can see leading the charge is a horse with a spider mask on it. This is actually Widow, and he comes directly from the comics. Now we go over to the poster, and I'm going to try to avoid just repeating the ones that have appeared in the video so far. However, it's impossible to talk about all this without being thorough, and we have 2099 at the front, the Mark III armor by Miles' head, and Spider-Man India sitting to the right. To his right we have the spectacular Spider-Man, and you might recognize him from the animated show. Josh Keaton voiced him in the series, and we know that he'll be returning as the character for the upcoming film. Now to the right of him we have a Spider-Man with a collar, and he first appeared in the Happy Birthday storyline. This is an older version of the character, and they later adapted him into Ezekiel Sims for his further appearances. To his left is the therapist we see at the end, and to his right is the werewolf Spider-Man. We then have what appears to be a black suit Spider-Man, Spider-Side, Lady Spider, and a Gandalf-looking wizard one with a long white beard. The black suit with the embossed lines is also the Mark I armor, and this is what the character first wore when he decided to upgrade his suit. Now to the top left of Gwen's head, we can see Spider-Bite. She appears in the trailer for a split second, and she comes from a world that's basically Ready Player One. We have Spider-Punk to the right of that, and then Peter B. Parker with Spider-Man Unlimited below him. Captain Spider then pops up above him, and Cyborg Spider-Woman can be seen to his top left. Anyway, above Issa Rae's Spider-Woman, we have Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman, and she first appeared in Secret Wars. Up to her left, we have Web Slinger, and he's a Wild West Spider-Man who'll probably be seen with Widow. Above him sits Spider-Cat, and this is a character that you might know from the Spider-Man PS4 game. He also appeared in Spider Island New York City issue 1, and I'm hoping that we see some fine pussy in this movie. I think we got away with that one. Now to the top right of him, faded into the poster, you also have one with giant eyes that could potentially be Ultimate Spider-Man. In front of him we have Scarlet Spider-Man, Spinneret, the PS4 Spider-Man, and the Knight to her far left. In between her and the Knight is the character Doppelganger, who's a wild 6-arm version of the character with fangs and sharp claws. To the far left we have Mexican Spider-Man above him, then we have what actually looks like a samurai Spider-Man, then we have the anti-Kingpin suit before we go to the bombastic Bagman. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. I couldn't spot an Andrew Garfield one, though it does look like one who has his suit next up to the guy on the right with a big hat. Might not be him, but those eyes do look kinda similar, so I just put Andrew down to end the video on a high note. Also, I think we have Spider-Monkey in one of the trailers for like half a second, so yeah, don't go writing in the comments that we missed him, because we didn't.
See you, chump.
Anyway, that's the video, and I hope you liked it. You better have. Took lots of time, so if you did enjoy it, then please hit the thumbs up button, and make sure you subscribe for breakdowns like this almost every day. Not going through this again, but if you want something else to watch, then we will have a video linked on screen right now. And with that out of the way, I've been Paul, you've been the best, I'll see you next time. You take care of yourself, peace.